Welcome to koam-presents, a podcast produced by KOAM News Now and the 4 states' most watched news team.
If you're a weekend warrior who likes to go, 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 don't let pain put the brakes on your pace. When you need help with an injury that keeps you from moving, you want an orthopedic team with a proven track record. Freeman Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is nationally recognized and were recently named a 2018 CareCheck's #1 hospital in market and top 10% hospital in state for hip fracture repair. Freeman Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, the experience you need to keep pace with life.
Hello, welcome back again to another episode of Behind the Weather with Doug Hetty. I'm Lance Benning. I think I don't announce myself enough. Maybe I need to give myself more credit.
We need to know who you are, man.
You need to know who I am. Welcome. This episode again sponsored by Freeman Health System, Grand Lake Casino, and Derailed Commodity. Last time you set us up beautifully for the pet peeves. We're gonna roast a little bit this episode.
Pet peeves.
So talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of meteorologists. So I guess taking it back, are you still on the board, or you were on the board, I guess?
I was on the board. So I did a 5-year term of the AMS, American Meteorological Society. So for 3 years, I was one of the people who graded other meteorologists to get their CBM seal, which CBM seal, a lot of stations want you to have it. You know, it kind of says you're in the higher class of meteorologists. So I would grade people, which was interesting. I kind of enjoyed it. It was a lot of work, but I enjoyed it because I could see what other meteorologists were doing all over the country.
Yeah, like kind of their styles and stuff.
Yeah, and I could steal like some of their ideas, like, oh, that's a cool graphic, or that's a neat idea. You know, but at the same time, I had to grade them on their presentation, their forecasting, you know, all that stuff. But no, I was on the board. So for 3 years, I did that. And then 2 years, I was the board chair.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't have to grade people anymore. But then I had to take the other board members, their grades, and then I was kind of like the principal. So I had to decide, yes, that's a good evaluation, or no. And then I rolled off. So, because that was the end of my term. I may do it again someday. I don't know. It was good to do, but it was a lot of work.
Yeah, is it elected, or is it kind of like you serve your dues, you do your 5 years, and then
No, it's elected.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was elected on, and then by the board members, I was elected to the chair. So I mean it was pretty cool. I mean, we didn't get paid or anything for it.
Yeah, it's just extra.
I got a pretty cool plaque though.
Oh,
so
that's all you need. And how many do you think you went through? Like, is there like, you talked about, in our first episode, you said that not a lot of people go to school to be a meteorologist.
Yeah.
So is it pretty a slow pacing? Are you really actually interviewing a lot? Is it pretty strenuous as far as?
When I was grading, I would say I graded 5 a month, and I probably passed 2 of the 5. So the people who would fail, they had to wait a certain amount of time, then they could reply again. I think in my term, there was one person I ran into 4 times, came back through.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I got a lot of hate mail from other meteorologists.
Oh no.
I was like, gosh, come on.
Yeah.
So.
And they have, you mentioned another seal. Are there different seals, different like levels of seals?
Well, yeah, we have the CBM, Certified Broadcast Meteorologist, which is part of the AMS.
Yeah.
And then we have the NWA seal, which is National Weather Association. So that's another seal. There's a digital seal now. I mean, let's be wrong. It's a way for these companies to make money.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think they're as meaningful as what they used to be, and the public has no idea what they are.
Yeah, I mean, you just see them. You see them on TV, and they're like, "Well, I'll take it for what it is."
Yeah.
Huh.
It's more of a personal goal, I think, nowadays for
Well,
meteorologists.
I believe that. Yeah, they have to reach that certain level, and or if they're already on TV but they're not certified yet,
Right.
Or for those people who are the youngest and certified, cough, cough, duh. And and then at the end of it, what was like your grade? Is it an objective scale that like, okay, they have to do this, or is it like, I really think they have a good flow? Is it pretty based on intuition? I don't know.
We had several categories. We would grade them in forecasting. So they had to send us like 2 consecutive days.
And that's scientific, obviously.
Right. So, you can check if their forecast was correct or not. We grade them on how they organize the graphics. And was it telling a story? Because, I mean, the way I usually do it when I do my weather graphics is what has happened, what is happening, what's going to happen. And my philosophy is, if I ask you what you did today, you're going to most likely say, I got up, I went to the bathroom, I got a cup of coffee, I watched some Netflix.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, Seinfeld. I got dressed, went to work. You tell the story in chronological order. You don't say, well, I got some coffee, but before I got coffee, I went to the bathroom, and then I got dressed for work. Oh, wait, first I woke up. So you don't go back and forth. So I would look to see, do they tell the story in chronological order? Because that's how most of us think.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to digest. Yeah.
And then we grade them on their presentation. Are they choppy? Can they put sentences together? And then also how they did their presentation. Like was pet peeve. I would drive me insane nowadays. We didn't have this 10 years ago. 10 years ago, when we would do a forecast, our weather technology, I would draw a green blob and say, here's where the rain's going to be.
Yeah.
And then, or a blue blob for snow. Nowadays, we take the weather models into the weather computer, and then we have control of, do I want to show the European model? Do I want to show the global model? Do I want to show the North American model or the Canadian model or whatever model? But meteorologists, and especially the younger ones, have switched to on air saying, well, the North American model is saying this, or the global model is saying this. When 10 years ago, we didn't have that opportunity. We just said, here's what I think is going to happen. Well, that drives me insane because people watch you or they come to you to get your weather because they want to know what we think is going to happen.
Yeah, not what the European model. Okay.
And it drives me. I would fail somebody for it.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It'd make me mad. I'd be like, failed, done, get out. and now, it's bad. Everybody does that. So I lost the battle on that one.
So it's one of those things that gets debated. They'll be like, well, I think they should do it. And then
Well, I'll never mention any names, but
of course.
I know one meteorologist who is well respected, but he's gotten into the model trend. So like in a snowstorm, he'll get up on air and he'll be like, well, the North American model is thinking this. However, the global model is saying this. So he'll be like, so if the North American model is right, we're going to get 6 inches of snow. However, if the global model is right, we're only going to get 1 inch. Let's look at the European model. European model says 9 inches, and then he just kind of says, so we'll see which model's right. So you walk away. If you watch it, you have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah,
so,
you can't take anything away from it.
Yeah, so it still drives me crazy. But what do you do?
What do you do? So on the flip side of that, someone who has like a good narrative, actually can tell a story, then that's like in your eyes, that is the good. That is.
Yeah, we're storytellers.
Yeah.
That's what we're taking scientific information, and we're trying to convey a story to let people know what's going to happen. Is it going to rain? Is it going to be 55 and sunny? Or are we going to get severe storms? But when we get really active, severe weather, people want to know, what do you think is going to happen? They don't want to know what is a model that is never going to be perfectly right is thinking is going to happen.
Yeah.
So
do you see, because I guess in the news, we've been seeing like the combine, and like the sports like drafts and stuff. Do you see like young bloods like coming in and you're like, man, they're going to do so well? Like you see, is it kind of one of those, or does everyone have like that awkward start and then they kind of grow? Or did,
I think everybody has an awkward start, but yeah, I mean, there's a few. There's a guy named Matthew Capucci, and he's about 24. And when I was on the board, he was in college, and he would go to the AMS conferences, and he'd give these elaborate speeches, and I'd just sit back and be like, oh my, this guy's going to take over. And
he knows.
yeah, and he's in Washington, D.C. He's 24, and he is good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's smart. I mean, you sit and talk to him, and you just shake your head. You're like, you're way too smart for your own good. So yeah. I mean, you see some of those kids coming out here are really good. And then you also, on the other hand, you're like, yeah, you're not going to make it.
Man, it's that immediate. Like
Yeah.
you see him come out there, and you're just,
Pretty much.
Wow.
But I mean, gosh, I mean, it kind of leads me to, my other big pet peeve. I mean,
There's another one.
Yeah, the models and this and all that. But one thing all meteorologists are fighting, which is social media has just killed it. So any weather enthusiast has figured out the weather models are online.
Oh, yeah.
So you get weather enthusiasts or storm chasers, they get out and they start sifting through those weather models. Even though they don't fully understand what does this weather model mean, but they can understand enough to be dangerous. And they'll take these snapshots from, 10 days down the road, and then they'll put it on social media, and they do it for clicks, likes.
Yeah.
And they'll put massive 2-3 foot snowstorm is going to hit Joplin, Missouri in 2 weeks. And then it gets shared hundreds of thousands of times. And then I spend half my day answering people saying, is this true? Is this true? Is this true? Is this true? And it is so irritating.
It's a lot. Well, and it's a fine line. I mean, I guess, you want storm chasers. They are helpful, I would imagine, in some sense.
Yeah.
But then they just get a little carried away.
Yeah, I mean, traditional storm chasers, they're extremely helpful because they allow us to see what we see on the radar.
Yeah.
So they can confirm it, and they're great for the science and all. But we've got a handful of them who are crazy. And then they'll start
straight up.
just straight up crazy. And then they'll, I mean, there's the Iowa tornado. There's a storm chaser that got that tornado, and he could be listening to this, and it doesn't matter because I already called him out on Twitter. But he, for likes, he got great footage of this tornado, but he was blasting through towns 60, 70 miles per hour, blowing through stoplights, passing people on the shoulder, being extremely unsafe.
Yeah.
All for social media clicks.
Yeah, just to get that one shot. Yeah.
And it's just like, oh man. So, I mean, pretty much the whole meteorology community blasted him, but he doesn't care.
Getting the views.
Yeah.
You got to be safe out there. We'll be right back after this. At Grand Lake Casino, you get more points, more free play, and better rewards. Play at the casino where friends play. Grand Lake Casino, Highway 10 north of Grove, Oklahoma. Check them out online at grandlakecasino.com.
Make your home more comfortable with help from Derailed Commodity. Update your flooring with the area's largest selection of in-stock carpet, luxury vinyl plank, tile, area rugs, and more in many styles, brands, and colors. New furniture always brightens a home. We have a great in-store selection, including sofa sets, recliners, and mattresses. Economy to premium in stock and ready to brighten your home. Shop now at your local Derailed Commodity Flooring and Furniture with stores in Brazelton and Independence, Kansas, and Joplin and Butler, Missouri.
Welcome back. After a quick little break, we are talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly, which takes us into the ugly, that is tornadoes. You like that segue?
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Pretty good. So, all jokes aside, we're getting into that season.
Yeah.
There can be, real threats and things like that. We talked about the severe weather events, and you said your mind goes to my mind goes to
Right.
tornadoes, and I was like, that's absolutely right. But I think a lot of people just get afraid, besides the damage and everything like that, is like the unpredictability that it seems for them. So, and I mean, you can kind of nerd out a little bit if you want. What causes a tornado?
Well, I mean, if you look at the very wide scale, I mean, climate change has upped our severe weather a little bit.
Yeah.
So you go a little closer, so we look at the pattern, so the heady pattern. So like last year, we didn't really have any severe weather. That was the pattern. This year, the pattern just screams severe weather. So then you go down to a smaller scale. When you get to a storm system, if they track well, meaning, I mean, I can usually tell, man, that track is going to produce a lot of severe weather. Then you go down to even a smaller scale. When you get into the event, you got to have a lot of different things. I mean, you need it usually a strong cold front, so you're going to get a big temperature contrast. You need the moisture, so you got to have the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. The storm system itself is upper level dynamics. And then there's a lot of little things that have got to happen just perfectly to get tornadoes. You need instability. So one big way to get instability is it warms up, you get some sunshine, and then it makes the atmosphere unstable.
Yeah.
And then you go down even smaller. We have shear, which is like the change of wind direction with height. And I mean, all those things have to come together to get tornadoes. But when we say there's a big tornado threat for a day, we can already tell we have, let's say there's 6 main ingredients.
Yeah.
We can say we have all 6. So this is going to be a good potential for tornadoes, but still all the way into the event, we don't know where they're going to pop up. We have an idea. I could say there's a high chance there's going to be a tornado in a 50-mile radius, but to break it down any more than that is just, we don't have the scientific ability to do that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, is the instability like a scale, or is it kind of like a butter
Yeah.
zone? Like, so if it's super unstable, you're like, wow, that's going to be.
Yeah, we have, we call it CAPE, and it shows our instability. So we can see how high the instability is. So, you know, when it gets past, you know, if we got some shear, so we got wind movement, and if our CAPE's over 2,500 joules, we're going to rock and roll. So we can see all that.
And that gives you some foresight into, you know, the strength of within that 50 miles or whatever for that system.
Absolutely. So like with the Joplin tornado, you know, days prior, it did not look like our atmosphere was going to be that unstable. But Sunday morning, you know, the day of the event, you could tell the instability was extremely high. So all those factors were coming together, which maybe that's a good topic for the next podcast. We can talk about the Joplin tornado.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, a big event for everybody, and what we're coming up on, a little
11.
over 10, 11 years.
11 years. Yeah. It's crazy it's been that long.
I know. It's, well, we'll do something big, you know, kind of cover it. And
Okay.
I like that idea.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan
You guys,
to me.
if you have any ideas, if you're listening or watching.
Or any questions.
Or any questions, yeah. Check Doug's page out on Facebook.
Yeah.
Meteorologist Doug Heddy. Check out KOAM News Now /podcast. And I think we'll leave it there. That's a good ending point. Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. Make sure you're sharing with friends if they like listening to Doug Heddy, or you have any care about things I have to say. Share it with your friends, post it on Facebook, all that stuff. Thanks again to our sponsors, Freeman Health System and Grand Lake Casino and Derailed Commodity, and we will catch you in the next episode.
If you're a weekend warrior who likes to go, 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 don't let pain put the brakes on your pace. When you need help with an injury that keeps you from moving, you want an orthopedic team with a proven track record. Freeman Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is nationally recognized and were recently named a 2018 CareCheck's #1 hospital in market and top 10% hospital in state for hip fracture repair. Freeman Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, the experience you need to keep pace with life.
Thank you for listening to KOAM Presents. For the latest content and local news, weather, and sports, please go to koamnewsnow.com.